Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. Today, guys, of course, we're checking out the newest episode of Young Justice Phantoms, Young Justice Season 4. This is Season 4, Episode 10, Nomed Esir, but as we know with the Satana arc, all the episode titles are backwards. So the actual title is Rise Demon. Now, with the last episode, Undo, a lot of crazy stuff went down in terms of that episode, in terms of introducing us to another negative force user or something in terms of basically the negative dark side of things. Came down and turned into the Child, as that security guard said, "Hey, Child, what are you doing here?" He's like, Child, interesting name. And then took the rock or the stone of Atlantis, whatever that was, and created into Flaw. Was that the character's name? I think like that's a character from the comics that the Child is with, and created this creature that literally just killed this guard. And then basically Child's like, I wonder what's on the inside of this guard. Really creepy shit. And then Clarion, the witch boy, who we've seen, of course, throughout Young Justice, freaks out and realizes something's wrong because that, like, wave or something that went across that was, like, knocking out power and shit from the red diamond or whatever, that red crystal, before it turned into the Child and having some sort of, I guess, body to, like, kind of fixate within the world. Like, basically, it needed something to basically stay within our world. I guess what's happened to Clarion as well. And he seems, you know, freaked out and shit, and we'll see where that goes. And then, of course, we started the Satana arc in the last episode, and then seeing flashbacks with Clarion and Vandal. And then at the end, Vandal Savage is standing there with the Phantom Stranger. And he's the one who's been basically narrating the whole entire episode. There's a lot to look forward to here. And they also confirmed, too, the 5th episode, which is episode 13, is actually going to be a part of this arc. Now, when I say 5th episode, what I mean by is that, as we know with these arcs, we've had 4 episodes per arc. We have 13 episodes airing this year for this first half of Season 4. Then the second half, the last 13 episodes, will be airing sometime in 2022. Well, if we go by the 4-episode rule, it would be 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the 13th episode is just, I assumed a wild card or something, but actually it's a part of the Satana arc. And apparently the title came out, I didn't look really too much into it, I just saw the fact that they confirmed that there is actually 5 episodes in the Satana arc. So that's interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to. I'm excited to get into this. I really enjoyed that first episode, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the Satana arc here, because for me, it's something that we haven't really dove into too much to the Young Justice world in terms of the magic side and dark magic and shit like that. Like, it's really interesting, so I'm excited to get into it and see more of it. So let's get into it now, guys, and check it out. Episode 10, Rise Demon. But as we know, it's backwards. But anyways, let's go.
Now that Vandar's eyes have been opened to the Lords of Chaos and Order.
Lords of Chaos and Order, okay. I was wrong about that in the intro, but yeah.
Now going by the name Varljot.
Changing that name. Whoa.
The first immortal Varl's line had spawned. Arian, Lord of Atlantis.
What happened? Clarion.
Some shit went down.
He had us on the ropes, then
Yeah, he just left.
took off.
Tried to strangle us. What you heard was a summons. A summons of pure chaos.
Oh shit. Are you just gonna show up everywhere now?
I don't need you or Sparkly over there.
Sparkly.
I'm not here to help you. I'm here to replace you.
Oh!
After I decorporealize you.
What? I made a whole world without grown-ups. I made a Project Rutabaga flesh monster that was pretty gross. And then there was that whole Earth 17 fiasco.
He's gotta get out of this funk, man. He's gotta get out of the funk. Hey, I didn't expect to see you. They're still traveling. Just looking at the ring. She's just, I understand you're trying to help, but she's focused.
Help me prepare dinner.
I need not be telepathic to know you wish to speak to me without McGann present.
About her.
You should be, but
3 weeks aboard ship. 2 months since Connor died. She's completely closed.
2 months since he's died? That's how much time has passed?
Natural.
They made Arian their agent of order on Earth.
Mmm.
Crown's potent magic.
This
Very being. That city expanded to become capital of a kingdom.
What the fuck, dude?
Entire Atlantean
My
continent.
god.
Who is this guy?
No one.
No one.
A stranger.
You seriously want us to save
The Phantom Stranger.
Clarion nearly killed all 4 of us.
I am mother in your glue.
Great, a front row seat.
You're not facing one Chaos Lord.
How many?
You have all the Chaos.
Oh, this is worse. Oh, this is worse.
And together,
Super Saiyan.
we'll banish you.
I mean, that wasn't going to be that easy, but that was still fun. Convincing?
Use the power of the crown to sink the Atlantean capital. Unfortunately,
What?
Arian did not agree. This chaos would bring order to it all. The Atlanteans simply required the proper incentive. But the Immortal didn't require Arian's permission or even his help.
Oh, shit. He said do it anyways.
Fine. We're in the Sanctum Sanctorum of One, Jason Blood. Indeed you are, stranger. What have you sensed?
What have you sensed?
Coming of chaos.
I mean,
Stir
yeah.
of the demon. This one isn't much better. The Witch Boy requires your friend.
Friend.
If my friend. Change your form of man. Release the might from fleshy mind.
Here we go.
Boil
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this.
fire. God.
Yes.
Boring, banal, third rock from the sun. No one forced you to come. I came.
Oh my god, are they going to fight now?
I never asked you for that. You didn't have to have. History
He's just sitting there.
are the most unforgiving excuse for a sister. Wait a minute. Wait. Nothing I do will ever be enough. Will ever.
What in the fuck?
False alarm, I guess.
What the hell was that? It's a fucking school bus.
Etrigan cares little for your commands. Or
Well, we need your help.
and my half brother. I'd burn you myself. Then it is fortunate the choice is
Yeah.
out of your claws.
You see the difference in the power there? Oh. He's like, yeah. Ooh.
My blasts are supposed to destroy you, you stupid
Well,
zirconia.
that's not gonna be simple. Uh-oh.
Rocks and on me.
What in the fuck are you doing? Oh, crap. Oh, shit.
The sinking of the city of Atlantis.
Shit.
No matter the opposition,
Man. It's gonna happen.
no matter the cost. Until the entire continent
Wow.
treasures
Gone.
sank beneath the waves.
Damn. Okay.
His heart was heavy. The metagenes of a few Homo Magi were indeed activated,
Yeah.
and the water breathers of Atlantis were born. Varojat was satisfied, as was Clarion.
Of course he was satisfied. Of course he did all this shit.
What a grand old time.
My god. Opening up the gates of hell, basically. It seems. Oh, shit. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Oh!
Always does the trick.
It's not over. It's not over. The whole fucking town right there. Jesus Christ.
We shall both limit ourselves to our own power.
Are you sure you're gonna be playing fair?
For hire. No.
Someone needs to save her. Someone needs, come on.
Like Nightwing's workout bag.
Thank God you got saved. Jesus.
Wired perspective. You may not like Clarion, or me,
Okay.
but the Witch Boy is a weapon I've learned to aim, to control. Send boom tubes to every member of the Light and anyone they designate.
What?
Offer the same courtesy to Raish and his family. I doubt he'll accept.
The title makes so much sense now. It's perfect. It is honestly a perfect title because Etrigan was officially introduced in Young Justice. Holy crap, I was not expecting that. I should have with the title. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the child and whatever and all this stuff going on and all the stuff we learn. I'm thinking, oh shit. No, it's Etrigan. Etrigan's fucking here. This is so cool. It's so cool. And the way they end that part of the storyline in terms of where Zatanna's like, we need more help. So I wonder who they're going to go after to help stop all this because the child has the power of everything a part of chaos, which in my intro, I was trying to think of the words. Apologies. I watch a lot of shows and I'm trying to remember everything a part of these shows. Sometimes I lose track of some things. It's order and chaos, and she has the power of all of chaos. That's why Clarion was losing during that fight. Like, this is not good. And the fact is she's here to replace him, to get rid of him, because basically chaos sees Clarion as failing. But it seems he's done some pretty bad, messed up shit. He mentions some stuff, and we saw, of course, throughout those flashbacks in the episode where he was the one that sunk Atlantis. And as it was predicted, some of the people living in Atlantis before it sank, their meta genes activated, and they became the first real Atlanteans, of course, living in the ocean. So that's where that all started. But we'll get to the flashback stuffs in a minute. But it was so cool to see that. And for the Phantom Stranger, like, he was introduced officially in the first episode of this arc, the last episode, talking to Vandal Savage. And then literally he just pops up and finds Zatanna. I'm wondering if, like, he can sense that Zatanna and her students, apologies there, my throat, Jason Blood, Etrigan, and whoever else they need to go after is going to be able to help Clarion stop the child. Because what it was kind of referencing to Vandal Savage at the end, talking to Dr. Fate, is that I cannot control the child, this new person who's a part of Chaos, who has so much more power. I cannot control her. I can control Clarion and aim him where I need to. And I'm all about continuing and furthering the Earth, and basically the child is not for that. So regardless of our differences and everything between, of course, Dr. Fate and Heroes and Vandal Savage, the child is the bigger threat here. And it really is. The child is, like, clearly, just by the sheer amount of power we saw, which was like, I'm thinking just a little bit of what the child can actually do. This is not good. This is not good at all. So I like the fact that the Phantom Stranger shows up, sends Zatanna over to seeing all this go down and getting a sense of what's going on here in terms of the power struggle, because essentially the child's like, Clarion, your whole entire time being here has been not good, basically. I forget the word they used, but it hasn't been successful in our eyes. So we're getting rid of you. And the fact that she revealed, oh, I have the power of all of chaos, like, everything, like, shit. And you saw the difference there in terms of what Clarion could do and what the child could do. Like, it was just not a fair fight against Clarion. And he clearly is scared, and he ran away. He's like, fuck this, and he's out. And then, of course, the child in Flaw leaves too. But I love so much about that whole sequence where the child is, like, showing her sheer strength. Etrigan shows up, he's like laughing, oh yeah, he's like all excited, and he has to fight Flaw, and then he realizes he can't destroy the anchor that's holding her onto this Earth. And then he goes after the child, and of course that didn't work out either. She popped out of the skull as a little child and then grew up and fired back. That was really a cool shot there. It was just really interesting to see that, because I think within the first episode, they introduced us to the child, how dark the child is, but we didn't know the full extent of what's going on here. We just saw a part of the balance of order and chaos, that the gym went down, sent out this wave, Clarion noticed it, and then, of course, we saw what happened within episode 1 in terms of the child having an anchor with the rocker or the stone of Atlantis, whatever it was, becoming Flaw, and then going from there. Within this episode, we now realize and learn she's not just here just on a whim. She's here because basically Chaos deems Clarion as a failure, and he needs to go. Because also referencing that Clarion is working under Vandal Savage. Like, you're basically working for him. And you're not supposed to do that. Like, you're more than that. And technically, yeah, he is working for Vandal Savage, because, I mean, he's a part of the light. He was there during that meeting when he sensed the shockwave and realized something was wrong. The Chaos is not wrong. The child, not wrong about Clarion, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where there's a lot of, it's all about the power and the balance of it. And if the child succeeds, there's no balance, because Order, I don't know how Order can respond to it unless Order responds to Chaos sending the child down by also giving Zatanna and them help, whoever that is. I don't know who they're going to get. Constantine? Maybe. Was Constantine ever introduced Young Justice? I don't think he was. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. But it's interesting. It really is interesting. Now, we had flashbacks throughout this episode, and we saw where, this is Vandal Savage. It has to be Vandal Savage, right? Like, because I was thinking, because I remember mentioning this in that first episode, and I think someone had mentioned that wasn't Vandal Savage, the one who was seeing the flashbacks in terms of who created Atlantis and everything and traveled and came back. He's an immortal. I think that has to be Vandal Savage. The same markings and everything, the scars, but because they give different names and shit, so I'm thinking, is there some sort of twist coming where, like, I don't... It's a lot to follow, guys. Like, you gotta understand, I watch a lot of shit, so just understand that if that's not Vandal Savage who's in these flashbacks and shit, apologies. I think it's Vandal Savage. It's gotta be, because the bond that they brought together, he's using different names because he's lived for so damn long, he keeps switching names. Anyways, so he leaves and comes back to Atlantis after he rebuilt it, after his grandson, who was the first immortal that was born from his bloodline, his grandson, 200 years later, is still alive and has a crown that was given by the Order. And Atlantis has prospered into this fantastic, like, over-the-top city that should not exist at the time when it did. And then it even grew even further. And then, for some reason, his grandfather had a bright idea, the king, his grandfather, Vandal, had an idea, and I know he has a different name, but get my point. He has an idea of sinking Atlantis because he wants to control, because he's like, well, 75% of the world is controlled, like, or is not under my control because it's the ocean. Like, there's so much that's untapped. So he wants to control everything, land and sea. So that was his thinking. And of course, there's these metas here that are being born. Some are going to die, some are going to live, and their genes are going to activate and everything. It's a giant gamble. And then, of course, his grandson is like, no, we're not doing this. Like, of course you're not doing this. He's like, and then the voiceover, because Vandal was telling the story. He's like, he did need his permission. Like, no, he didn't need his permission, because Clarion shows up and sinks the city, and then sinks the whole continent in the process. What in the hell? So that's pretty fucked up. But then that's how Atlantis was born. Like, the Atlantis we know now, that's how it was born. Crazy shit. And to know that it was all started because of Vandal all those years ago. It's pretty crazy how they're tying all this stuff in. And we also cut to Beast Boy for one brief shot in this episode for a couple seconds. And he's still looking over. And I'm wondering, what is this leading up to in terms of Beast Boy? Because if they're just going to continuously show him in bed, taking sleeping pills, and just looking at pictures of Connor, I'm going to get a little bit bored after a while because of that. Because at a certain point, we need him to accept it or something. He needs to talk to somebody. He needs to do something productive. Because right now, all he's done is lay in bed, go to a store to get sleeping pills. He watched TV at one point and saw the Markovia thing from Brion. We've seen this stuff, but he needs to do something productive, and he has not done that. So I'm thinking there's a story, because look, this show has not failed me at all. The show has always succeeded in telling their stories. So I'm holding out that they have a reason why they're showing just Beast Boy doing all this stuff, because it's going to lead to something. So I'm going to patiently wait. But at a certain point, I will have to say, it's getting kind of tiring. We have to do something with that character besides just seeing him constantly being upset. I get it, because they did the same thing, because we cut to Miss Martian in this episode, and they're still flying back. They're still a week out from landing on Earth. And it's been 2 months since Connor died. He's not dead. The Legion captured him. But anyways, that's the theory, and I think that's pretty much what we're all sticking with, right? So we see her, and then her sister's trying so hard to get her to communicate, because she's, again, looking at the ring, looking at her fucking ring. It's like, or when was it Connor's ring? I think it was Connor's ring, because it was a gold band, so I'm thinking it was probably Connor's ring. But she wasn't really talking, so she had to create a fake argument with McGann to get her to start talking. And then that's when they had an embracing moment. They were laughing at first, and then, of course, they had to be upset. 2 months have passed. But she's just trying her best to help her sister out. And then, I'll say Miss Martian again. Martian Manhunter sitting there at first when they're in the fake argument going, I think he knew the plan, but still, it was quite interesting to see that. So maybe this will help her get, not over it. There's no giving over a death like that. That's pretty pretend. They've known each other for so damn long. They were in love. They were gonna get fucking married, literally very soon. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm hoping that this will help her get to a certain point where she can actually have a conversation, and maybe when she gets back, she can help Beast Boy. Maybe that's what they're kind of setting up, because they cut from him to her. So maybe that's what they're kind of implying, is when she finally gets back to Earth, we're going to help Beast Boy start doing stuff again. Not necessarily being the Beast Boy we know and love, which we'll hopefully get to that at some point, but at least get him to the point where he's not laying in bed constantly looking at photos. I get that, memories. But not taking fucking sleeping pills and doing all this. Like, come on, man. Come on. It's been 2 months. I get it. Look, when someone that closest to me passes away like that, whenever that happens, because it hasn't happened in a long time, but when that happens, I know I won't be really over it in 2 months, but you get my point. Like, at some point, you have to realize you can't just be in the same mindset and just doing the same stuff for 2 months afterwards. You got to, at some point, try to pick yourself up or try to get help, whatever you need. So maybe that's going to happen. We'll see. But yeah, so this episode was pretty intense in terms of setting up certain things, and Etrigan was introduced. Etrigan introduced. We realized the child has the power of all of the chaos, and the flashback stuff was pretty insane in terms of how Atlantis was really born, and how Atlanteans were actually born officially with the meta gene being activated within them, and all that. Just a lot of crazy stuff. I love the show. I love it to death, and I'm so excited. And the fact is, now we have 5 episodes in this arc, so we have 3 more to go to see where they're going to take this. And maybe that's why, because I saw someone tweet this morning, like, I didn't really feel like anything happened this episode. I disagree. Some shit went down in this episode. We learned some shit. We saw some shit. Etrigan introduced, and then of course we had fucking Vandal Savage talking to Dr. Fate. I mean, stuff's moving along. It's just like we have a little more time to progress the story, so I'm not too worried. So what you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.